Hello everyone, this is Yeshua Said My Name. This video is going to be an overview. Many of you who subscribe to my channel, which I thank you for, are already aware of the subjects that the Lord allows me to teach on, namely exposing the papacy in Rome as being anti-Christ, as being fulfilling Revelation chapter 17. This channel is dedicated to warning, like a watchman on the wall, people that need to hear what to look for before the second coming of Christ. This video is going to be an overview of Revelation 17. I'm going to do a little bit of speaking myself. I plan on doing a couple of videos today on a couple of different topics, and I'm also going to include a video that I found on YouTube that I think very, very tangibly and simply and practically put explains what Revelation 17 is all about. As I've said, I previously have done many videos on this channel about Revelation 17, my feelings on the papacy in Rome, who and what they stand for, and how all of this plays into fulfilling Revelation chapter 17. But before I get into playing you this video that I want to play you, I wanted to read some excerpts from Revelation chapter 17. So what I'm about to tell you, if you're a Roman Catholic and you're listening to this video, this is not to bash you, this is not to insult you, and this is not to cause offense. But unfortunately, the truth causes offense. Paul spoke to his listeners and said, "Have I now become your enemy because I speak the truth?" Proverbs says, "The wounds of a friend can be trusted. It is an enemy that multiplies kisses." An enemy will tell you anything you want to hear to make you feel good and pacify you. A true friend and someone who loves you will tell you the truth. And God tells watchmen on the wall that he's placed that if you see the sword coming, if he's revealed things to you and you say nothing, he will hold the watchmen accountable for the blood of those people that perish in their sins. They'll die in their own sin, but he'll hold us and you and me accountable if we say nothing. So let me start off by reading Revelation 17, or at least some excerpts from it, before I get into showing you a video excerpt that I found online that I think perfectly describes not only what I've been preaching on this channel for months, but what the Lord has revealed to me as well. So I'm reading out of the King James Version Bible. Okay, and it says here, and starting in Revelation 17, "And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed adultery and fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication." Now this whore of Revelation 17 represents a woman, and in prophecy, a woman represents a church. Christ being the male or the head or the husband of the church, and any form of female representing spirituality, like a woman, her, she, spiritually speaking, and like in the book of Hosea, is always referred to God's people that call themselves his wife, or those that belong to God or made a commitment to God. But the woman in Revelation 17 represents a church. And this woman in Revelation 17 is definitely not talking about the true bride of Christ. So what we're reading here is about a woman who rules over the kings of the earth. And if you notice here, it says that she rules over the kings of the earth. Notice that all of the dignitaries go to the Pope. He doesn't come to them first. The dignitaries and presidents and kings of the earth go to the Pope. They go to the Vatican. And their way of showing submission to his authority over them is by them going to him first. And notice he wears white. Everyone else, including women, have to wear dark colors, or the women have veils, but everyone else has to wear dark colors. He alone wears the white. The word vicar means in place of, he is vicariously living the life of the Son of God on earth. In Latin, vicarius filii Dei means that he is vicariously the Son of God on earth. That's what it means. If you look up the term vicarius filii Dei, that's what it means. The word anti or anti in the original Greek also means a substitute for or in place of. Satan does not necessarily come against Christ through this man of sin. He imitates. Remember, Satan tries to imitate. He tries to produce a counterfeit that looks so close to the truth that Jesus said, if it were possible, the very elect could be deceived. And when God says, come out of her, there's that her again, a church, come out of her, my people. That's what he's talking about. So this woman we're reading about here is not the bride of Christ. It's not the body of Christ. It is a counterfeit church that Satan is using to look so close to the real thing that it says in the scriptures that if it were possible, it could deceive the very elect. So let's keep reading. So the kings of the earth are committing fornication with her, and they're all submitting to her. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman, there's this church again, sitting upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy. Now, I've gone over this before in previous videos. It is blasphemous for the Pope to take the title of the Holy Father. That's God's name. And remember, Jesus said in the book of Matthew, many will come in my name, saying, I am he. This is blasphemy. So on her forehead are names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And this, of course, represents the beast that she is having control over right now. And the woman was arrayed or dressed in purple and scarlet color. And I'm going to show you some pictures on my phone that I have here of all the cardinals and bishops dressed in purple and scarlet. And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. The Vatican is laden with gold and stones and pearls and treasures. Anyone who's gone to the Vatican or seen pictures can see this. She is greatly wealthy and decked with gold and pearls and precious stones, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations. Now, this golden cup is used at the Mass. Every Mass, it's a golden cup, and God sees this cup that they hold at the Mass. How does he call it? It's an abomination full of filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. So this church, this mother church, is pagan, because the Babylonians were pagans. So essentially what Revelation is saying to us here, Babylon the Great, it's going to be a mixture. And when something is great, it doesn't necessarily mean that, yes, it can mean powerful, but it can also mean something large, that it's incorporating many different religions or many different religious practices. So Babylon, being singular, the Great, is incorporating many things into its one institution. Babylon is pagan. So this church has been a mystery. Up until the 1929 Lateran Treaty, many would not have understood Revelation 17, and that's just my opinion. So it was a mystery up until the 1929 Lateran Treaty who this harlot would be, this Babylon the Great. The mother of harlots, there's the female again, the church of harlots, and there's a inscription in stone on the Vatican that states that she admits, engraven in stone, that she's the mother church of not only the Catholic Church, but of the whole world. And I can bring up a picture to show you that too. And she's the mother of harlots. Now, I wanted to get into the harlot daughters as well in just a moment. And the abominations of the earth. So God is accusing her of being Babylon the Great, meaning her being a church prophetically, which is practicing pagan practices, yet claiming the name of Christ. She's the mother of harlots. Now, there are many evangelical pastors like Mike Bickle, Rick Warren, John Hagee, many others that are going to the Pope. He's not coming to them. They are going to him and visiting him in the Vatican, and that shows their submission to him. And they're aligning themselves with their mother. And what that means is, when this is being fulfilled, when Paul said when the great falling away happened, that many would not adhere to sound doctrine, but adhere to doctrines taught by demons. Well, any pagan practice or any pagan doctrines are doctrines of demons. So these harlot daughters, these evangelical pastors like Kenneth Copeland and others who are aligning themselves with the papacy in Rome, they're aligning themselves with Babylon, which is pagan. And they're taking some of those teachings, some of those practices, and infiltrating them into the churches. And let me ask you a question. How many of you who sit in church every week, if you belong to a church home, hear pastors preach things that come from maybe books they've studied or seminars they've been to? Are they really being taught by the Spirit of God? What is being revealed in the pulpits to the masses to prepare them for the times that are coming? The time is coming when America, I believe, will see the same persecution that the Middle East is seeing. Where is the prophetic teaching? Why aren't we teaching people Revelation and the book of Daniel so they can be prepared? And God says she's also responsible for the abominations of the earth. And later on in this chapter it goes on to say that all the bloodshed from the beginning of when the earth was made, he pins on her. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Remember, Jesus said that there will be those who come in his name, killing you, persecuting you, putting you to death, believing that they're doing God's service. So this is what happened when the Catholic Church was putting thousands of born-again Christians to death because they adhered to the scriptures. This is why the Reformation started. And she was, okay, with the blood of the saints. Let me see here. All right, and then it goes on and on to say here, all right. And all those whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. In other words, what it's saying here, and I didn't finish the whole verse, it's saying here that if your name is not written in the Lamb's book of life, you will be deceived by this harlot church. You will believe that she is godly, that the Pope is truly the vicar of Christ, that he's the physical representation of God on earth. He calls himself the Holy Father. When Jesus came to this earth and said, I and my Father are one, I come in my Father's name, they wanted to stone him because of blasphemy. Yet this man can come on the scene and claim to be the vicar of Christ, the one who is the Son of God on earth, and claim the name the Holy Father, which is God's name, and no one accuses him of blasphemy. So I wanted to get into, show you a few pictures on my phone and also a video. I know this video is a little bit lengthy, but just bear with me. This is pretty much just an overview to keep you thinking and keep you searching and keep you praying and keeping your eyes open and remembering these things, that don't get so caught up in the day-to-day routines or necessities that we have to do, which we all have to do, that we lose sight of these things. And I want to play you this video, and then I want to end with a few pictures that I want to show you that will explain to you who these harlot daughters are, and a few other things that will align with what it is I'm trying to show you from Revelation chapter 17. Again, this video is not made to bash Catholics and hate Catholics. This video is made in love to warn you. All right, I hope this will come through for you.
Revelation chapter 17 warns the inhabitants of the earth about the institution that Pope Francis is the figurehead of. It tells of how kings, politicians, and powerful men of the earth have fraternized with her, and how the Vatican manipulates the economies from behind the scenes. The chapter also tells how many have been deceived by her doctrines. Roman Catholicism is a mixture of paganism and Christianity, with Babylonian roots, and many have been made drunk with the wine of the papacy. The following symbolic code is the key to opening up prophetic symbolism. The use of the word kings is obviously interchangeable with presidents, dictators, and powerful people. A pure woman is symbolic of Christ's church. A whore represents an apostate church. Wine represents doctrine. Fornication means tampering with other beliefs and practices that are not written in the Bible. With whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth had been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-coloured beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Blasphemy in this case is the claim that the clergy can forgive or absolve sins, which is the prerogative of God only, as you might have seen in atheistic nations such as China or North Korea, where dictators fulfill the spiritual needs of the people as they see them as gods on earth. Julius Caesar was worshipped as a god by the Romans. So Pope Francis assumes the place of God, replacing Jesus Christ in the flesh on earth. The Pope is something tangible to those poor deceived Catholics, and the Bible is lost sight of with the Pope's fair, philosophical, humanistic speeches and public relations stumps. The 7 heads represent 7 kingdoms or manifestations of power the soon-to-be world-dominating Vatican will be built on. There are some who think the 7 heads are the 7 hills Rome sits on. That's an interesting point, but the true interpretation of the 7 heads is far more interesting. However, it is quite involved, which you can distinguish in the following link. The 10 horns are the 10 regions of the world, which will give their power unto the papacy. The 10 horns is another prophecy that is quite involved. Therefore, there is a link to the elucidation of the 10 horns, or in other words, the New World Order. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. It is amazing how precise prophecy is. Vatican coin even depicts a woman with a cup full of Babylonian doctrine. The Pope and cardinals dressed in purple and scarlet, the abominations and filthiness of her fornication represents the departing of the faith once delivered to the saints, the changing of the fourth commandment, switching the Sabbath to Sunday dies solis, Sunday worship day, the worship of Mary are all ventures of the Vatican. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. There are mysteries that are esoteric in that they are only intended to be understood by the inner circle of the Roman Catholic Church, a bit like Freemasonry. 1 Peter 5:13 also portrays Rome in the new spiritual Babylon. The church that is at Babylon, elected together with you, saluteth you, and so doth Marcus my son. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. The Roman Catholic Church persecuted and killed over 50 million people. Popular culture will tell you that those killed were put to death for mostly witchcraft. However, many who were martyred were Christians who practiced their faith in the biblical form and would not conform to the Babylonian Church of Rome. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was, and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. As previously stated, there will be 10 economic regions or confederations similar to that of the European Union that will give their power unto the Pope. Whether it be Pope Francis or another, every Pope ever elected assumes the position of the Antichrist, meaning in place of in Greek. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. The leaders of these 10 regions will all give the Vatican full sway over the affairs of men, enforcing the Roman spurious Sabbath of Sunday. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings. They that are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, and where the horse sitteth, are people and multitudes, nations and tongues. Verse 15 describes the whore, who is the papacy, which has been unfaithful, mingling pagan doctrines with Christianity, perverting the word of God. Water is symbolic of large numbers of people, as in the expression, a sea of people. Peoples, multitudes, nations and tongues represent many diverse ethnic, cultural and lingual differences. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. After these 10 regions have been deceived, that they will turn upon the Vatican, ripping the leaders of the Vatican, including the Pope and the cardinals, to shreds because of their eternal damnation and the loss of eternal life. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Okay, I hope that this explains a little bit as well, like where I've been coming from with this past year making videos about exposing the papacy as being Antichrist. I borrowed this video, and I hope this is okay, from Adam 1984. He's one of my subscribers, and I thank him for making this video because I wholeheartedly agree. I wanted to show you a couple of pictures here that I have on my phone of the cardinals and bishops dressed in purple and scarlet. I hope this is coming through. But like I said, up until 1929, how could this have been understood? Even John was marveling. In 1929, she was brought back into power again. And this is a quote from Pope Pius X. He lived from 1835 to 1914. And this is his quote, and I'm quoting this. He said, "The Pope is not simply the representative of Jesus Christ. On the contrary, he is Jesus Christ himself, under the veil of the flesh." Pope Pius X. You can read this for yourself. There are many quotes like this where popes have claimed to be God on earth. As a matter of fact, I did a video a few months ago about that, and I should do another video for you so you could see all of the heretical claims of the Pope. Here's another interesting picture of this Mystery Babylon church that is dressed in purple and scarlet and holding that golden cup of abomination in her hand. And I have one final picture to show you. Notice in this, this looks to me, I'm not sure, but this looks to me to be some kind of world government meeting. Maybe it's in the United Nations. I'm not sure. Actually, it could be in Britain. If any of you knows where this picture was taken from, please feel free to mention it in the comment section below. But notice the statue of who is sitting above these world leaders, and notice the stars representing possibly the 10 regions here. None other than the Pope of Rome sitting on a throne. Notice the stars representing the regions or the countries, and notice the world leaders there sitting there and talking. And there's this huge statue of the Pope of Rome in his crown, and of course on the crown is actually written Vicarius Filii Dei. It's actually written on his three-tiered tiara or crown. But notice this statue just presiding over the statue of the papacy, presiding over this government meeting. Very, very interesting indeed. The Pope is not merely a representative of Christ. On the contrary, he is Jesus Christ himself under the veil of the flesh. This is from Pope Pius X. Let me see if I have anything else. I have had so many things that the Lord has brought my way about this. Okay, I'll make another video soon about other things the Lord has been putting on my heart lately. But I wanted to do a refresher of Revelation chapter 17. That if you have been raised Catholic your whole life, this is a warning going out to you that, and you can look over my videos previously, that the papacy is this harlot in Revelation 17 dressed in purple and scarlet. In 1929, the Vatican became its own city-state after having a wilderness experience for many years. When the Reformation started to rise up against the papacy so the common man could have the scriptures in their hands, the Reformation started, the papacy was taken out of the way for a while and went into what's called a wilderness experience. And then that deadly wound was healed, and she was brought back out of that wilderness experience. And in 1929, the Lateran Treaty was signed, and that harlot that rides the beast and rules over the kings of the earth is what she is from 1929 to present time. This will be the revived Roman Empire that is ruling and existing right before the return of Christ. Do I know the day or hour? No, nobody does, but Jesus tells us to watch. He wrote the book of Daniel and Revelation so we would know what is to come, so we could be watchmen on the wall and warn other people. So I hope this video, either if it's new to you, it's been enlightening and something for you to look into. If not, I mean, it's a refresher. I hope that it was a blessing to you, that you could please pass along to family members, co-workers, maybe on your Facebook page. I desperately have a passion for Ephesians 5:11 that says expose things, to expose the deeds of darkness, when Jesus said, "What I whisper in your ear, proclaim from the rooftops." God bless you, and thank you for listening today.